This program is made possible by annual financial support from viewers like you.
Like many of my favorite toys, Tiny instills within me a fascination. The kind I would liken to the emotions that humans feel when holding some rare jewel or bauble. That simple feeling of holding a special trinket, a bit of wonder, a bit of awe. An accurate description would probably sound like, "This is such an enamoring little thing in my hand." I couldn't tell you when I got Tiny, though I've likely had her nearing on 2 decades at this point, but I can certainly tell you how. From time to time, more often than you might expect, the mimetic of dumpster diving is brought to the forefront of conversation within my peer groups. More often than not, this comes in the form of a bit or joke in some random YouTube short played in between games of Overwatch. Each time, however, I find myself coming to the same point of intrigue, a little fun fact. My grandfather found some of my favorite toys in the garbage, I often say. This isn't hyperbole, and it isn't absurdism, it's just a fact. On the screen right now, you'll see reference to her. A yellow elephant that my grandfather found on the side of the road in a green wooden chest, along with some other bits and bobs. Tiny is, without a doubt, a dog toy. In fact, she has a mark or two to prove it, as well as the squeaks that are undeniably intended to mimic the sounds of desperation of some small creature in order to light up a dog's mind like some retrailing of a path primitive. Tiny's introduction into my life wasn't out of necessity. I had other toys. Plenty of elephants, too. Yet my grandfather saw something within this thrown-away dog toy. He saw something that would make me smile. I see dumpster diving to be a form of art, performed within a lived moment, a denial of the rigid structures that surround us, a pause in the endless consumption and subsequent disposal of goods. There's something so undeniably human at play. So often it seems as if all of humanity is simply a toiling mechanism that exists in order to make an arbitrary number go up. Yet there are instances such as these that transcend the imposed reality of commodity and currency. Instances that point to a more true representation of the reality we live in. This is good. Why would anyone throw this away? 10,000 years ago, to have an object such as this, one that brings forth admiration and delight, that would have required a craft. Time, dedication, effort, years of experience combined with hundreds of years of knowledge culminating in a transformation of raw material into object. Trinkets and baubles would have been passed from parent to child's child, and so on, just so that more of one's lineage could hold it and say to themselves, "This is such an enamoring little thing in my hand." I believe a reclamation of this emotion is in order. The negative perspective regarding mass production is obvious in nature. In some ways, the effort that goes into an item gives it an immutable quality. That time and effort itself have value, and it's easy to discredit the cultural plasticity of the creation of plastic as a net negative. Environmental impacts, the word cheap, the non-existence of a one-of-a-kind mass-produced object. However, that need not be the dominant perspective one takes towards such things. I see a growing problem, one I've experienced myself, an often unintentional denial of significance of what we look around and see. The McDonald's, the cars, the cheap toys at the mall. It builds a feeling, or lack thereof. A callous disconnection to the modern world, our very surroundings becoming something to ignore, escape, or simply passively distaste. There are undeniable negative impacts in connection to all of these things, impacts that should be studied and addressed. But is it possible that this internalization of distaste is an overcorrection? At any time, all of us are surrounded by things that are undeniably linked to the people of the past. Our cultures, our languages, our technologies. Without the efforts of humans who've lived before, none of these things would have come to fruition. From the FedEx truck to the pajama pants, each item, each thing we see is evidence of our failings. Each of them is a point of connection, an intersection on a web that spans the entire earth and the breadth of human history. When I hold this little yellow elephant, I'm holding the culmination of 300,000 years of development, nights spent under starry skies, ideas sparked and rekindled thousands of times, poetry, stories, songs, and memetics that all contribute to the significance of elephants as a concept so ubiquitous to the human experience that we want even our pets to be involved in that enjoyment. When I hold this little yellow elephant, I'm holding my grandfather's unintentional refusal to accept the meaninglessness and insignificance of something cheap and simple. When I hold this little yellow elephant, I can't help but find myself a bit lost in thinking, this is such an enamoring little thing in my hand. I wonder how many people before me have felt that. Have you? Thank you for watching, dreamer. I hope your next dream is as intriguing as the last.